All right, it looks like we are starting. It's AGM on the defense and Liquid on the offense. Did I spell that right? No way I can't spell liquid. I'm very sorry, Team Spirit, if I spelled this wrong. No, that's how he spelled it. Okay. Alright. Going into round one. My sense is off. Okay, there we go. Starting off with a storage side push. We have two bots now on the side of AGM, and Liquid have full control of storage. Grenade goes out, catches a lot of damage on Banana. Wall is now blown, and the bots are in real trouble now. Team Spirit does take out one. Pressure takes out one Banana with a trade. Team Spirit takes out Skittles. Now one is in con and one is in center. Commander gets a pick. Elite here swings door, might catch out the player on center. One of them does go down, and it does look like a rotation is in order. Team Spirit is pushing in. Ooh, just barely catches out Commander, and now it's a 2v1. However, Team Spirit does have EMP. He could get it planted with the cover from pressure. EMP is planted, but Team Spirit goes down. Now it's a 1v1. EMP is planted. Kai's going to have to do something. Cutting it very close here, and pressure takes out Kai. Good round there from Liquid. Team Spirit was able to safely rotate over to A site after facing resistance, and that allowed them to get the plant down for free. Now we're on to top floor. We'll see how AGM decides to defend this. Interestingly enough, we don't see anyone playing out here near lockers or hatch. You usually see at least one player playing under hatch. However, we do see DJ down here on stairs. Drone will point them out though. However, that does mean the drone won't be catching Tetris or Sight, so that could be unfortunate. Sparks is in vending now, and his teammates will follow closely behind. However, no one in Tetris here to block that. 2 back site, 1 on bomb and 1 on con. Hopefully they can defend this site. Team Spirit is here on the back side. And we may see Sparks gets a pick here. However, EMP player is pushing B still. Liquid is kind of at a standstill right now. Team Spirit has EMP but is pushing lockers. This is causing them to get a little bit antsy. Hopefully Team Spirit can get in and plant EMP even though they're already 13 HP. Commander does take out Elite, and Foam is on wall. However, they might not be able to cover his plant very easily. Sparks is now here to cover the plant. However, there is one B site. Now it's a 1v2. EMP is planted, however. It is a post-plant situation. Bit of damage there. However, it is a 1v2. Everyone here is very low. However, pressure is going to be able to get single body shots and take them out. And there it is. Pressure gets 2k. Pressure surviving both of those rounds. Sole survivor both times. I have noticed that AGM has not been playing very aggro with their roams. DJ was on stairs, but he rotated off very quickly once the drone saw him. Maybe we'll see player play a tiny bit more aggro here upstairs. Or no. We see DJ up here with a Marui. Perhaps this deeper roam will allow them to stop this hatch plate from working properly. Although it seems we may be seeing a museum hatch drop. Yes, it does seem that's the play here. Or no, they're just clearing space. The drone may catch out. The drone does catch out DJ. However, he does not rotate fully off. The drone could have heard his vaulting. Ooh, and Team Spirit is there. The push on site has started, and Liquid does have the player advantage. Not much movement here from Liquid, though. Hopefully they're not caught out by that player sitting right next to wall. Kai does get a pick on Sparks, however does go down to Pressure, who just blew the wall. And Commander gets a pick. That's a 3v3 now. They do know at least one person is in con, and Pressure seems to know that there is a player in Gravel Hallway. Player takes out the EMP planter. Pressure takes out Commander, who played just a little bit too aggro. Now it's a 2v2. EMP is on the wall. However, there is 30 seconds. It's not fully planted yet. Ooh, Skittles is able to take out one. Team Spirit gets player. Ooh, a lot of damage to that wall. That's going to deny the stim that Team Spirit just used. 15 seconds on the clock. If Skittles is smart, he's going to... Never mind. I was going to say he would just walk away. However, there were 2 dots on the EMP, so he needed to swing out. Very good call there from Skittles. He played on the stairs, a very unexpected angle. That's AGM's first round of this half. Hopefully they can carry this momentum into the next few rounds, because they do have a major weapon advantage now. They have 2 rifles and 2 SMGs, with DJ currently sticking with... No, he is going rifle. While Liquid has... Yeah, Liquid has all 4 SMGs and 1 Vezin. Does seem it will be another vending push with perhaps one player going hatch. No. Looks like it will be an orange stair and vending push. However, we do have DJ downstairs once again. We do see a more B-site favored defense. Very aggro there. However, a wall is blown. There is some utility here though. They will have to be careful. However, there is no one in vending. Team Spirit has made sure that no one was able to rotate. Sparks does take a lot of damage. Thankfully, he has the heal. However, there is the flank downstairs. That's 1, 2, 3. DJ is only able to get 3. However, that is a lot of damage dealt. However, Team Spirit is here in B site. Who is able to make it past the bot. Gets 1. Skills is able to get the refrag. Now it's a 1v2. Player does make it back. However, that bot did not help. Team Spirit was able to get straight into B site and the bot did not register that. Ooh, Pressure takes a lot of damage there. However, he does have a stim. Ooh, that's 1 down. 1v1 now. He does have EMP, so he does have the option of rotating over. Ooh, takes a lot of damage from those trip mines. "30 seconds left on the clock. Pressure is going to have to make a move. However, player doesn't have any form of utility to deny the plant. It does seem Pressure is going to save. Thankfully, player is not getting too aggressive. No, it seems player is disconnected. So it is a very good thing that Pressure decided to save. Unfortunate that player is having some connection issues. That's an interesting visual bug. Down here it says it's player, but over here it's Wayne's. Unfortunate they have a bot again. However, hopefully the same thing doesn't happen as before. Does seem they will be going storage once again. Hopefully AGM is a little bit more ready for it this time though. We see some util trips, decoys, some statics on the wall. Hopefully this is enough to stop the Liquid offense from pushing in too quickly. Interesting flash usage. Instead of using it to take space on this left side here, they use it on this main wall here. Oh, Team Spirit is running in. Doesn't quite kill anyone, however does take a lot of damage. Team Spirit tries running in, however only gets one. Sparks gets DJ on the roam, and now it's a 4v3 in the favor of Liquid. A little bit of damage goes out, but nothing a Stim can't fix. And Skittles evens it out. Now it's a 3v3. Elite swings out, baited by the decoy. Now one's on AB door, blue box, and it seems one might be flanking. No, they have rotated to Con. Playing it very safe right now. One player is now in assembly, however, Lee is very low. He's going to have to let his health recharge. Banana does get Commander. Banana goes in, however, is taken out. Lee is in sight now. Skittles takes out Sparks. Ooh, crazy flick there from Skittles, able to get the 2K. Does look like Liquid also has a bot now. No, two. That's interesting. We're seeing a lot of disconnects here. Hopefully Breachers isn't having any server issues. Jonathan goes down to Commander, and Robin thinks it's a good idea to go right behind him. Commander takes him out as well. 2 down now. Oh, and right before Liberty Prime reconnects. Oh, Commander gets one on the hatch. That's a 3K now. Elite does take out Kai in response. However, it is already at 2v4. DJ on the roam is able to get the 2-piece, and it's a very good round there from AGM. They were able to take advantage of the player disadvantage they had, and also Commander and DJ having good aim, but Pressure definitely doing well on the Liquid side. 8-3. Commander and Skittles doing well on the AGM side. 8-5, 8-3. Commander has 5 assists as well. Interesting how Commander has the fluid clan tag, but is on the opposing team. believe we'll be seeing a hatch here from Skittles. There is also DJ over here on assembly. However, it doesn't look like they will actually be pushing there. Hatch is foamed, and both walls are now blown. A site is essentially completely open. Ooh, Liberty is able to get a pick there. Pressure takes a lot of damage there. DJ is now pushing it in from assembly. However, Kai does have EMP in sight. Ooh, Liberty and Elite both get picks of their own. Skittles gets 1, 2. He's 1 HP now. Skittles gets 3. That's the bot dead as well. One of them. Elite does get that refrag, and now it's a 1v2. DJ has Taurus. He could very easily get 2 one-shots. Ooh, the timing here. Liberty Prime is able to take out DJ. And that's Liquid's 3rd round. Unfortunate round there for AGM. They simply gave too many 1v1s, and Liquid was able to win those 1v1s, and that really reduced the numbers. We do see them going in through, what is that called? Generator. That is one bot dead, and hatch is open. That's going to provide a very easy access to War Room. However, Sparks is able to take out Skittles, and that's EMP. They're going to have to go retrieve that. Sparks has rotated, however, DJ Insight is able to get another player. Ooh, Elite tucked in here is taken out by DJ. That's 3 headshots so far, I think. Kai does take out pressure, but now the last player is watching EMP upstairs. They now know he's on stairs, and the players are now rotating. Commander is able to take out Sparks while he's rotating off. That's going to be AGM's 5th round, 1 point away from match point. We're back to top floor, and Liquid now does only have 1 bot. However, AGM does have full roster. We will see how they decide to combat this new aggressive AGM offense. They've been playing a little bit more aggro, especially with DJ's flanks. We do see Robin playing out here by Tetris, might be taken out early. However, Robin does decide to go back to site. Likely the right choice. However, they do have vending now. Foam on wall, and this is going to start off the push on AGM side. EMP is getting planted, and Skittles does take out one of the bots. EMP is not planted yet, and the planter is dead. This is going to be a little bit difficult for AGM to take care of, especially since the defense has gotten 2 picks now. Player does take out one. However, it is refragged by Elite. Sparks is on the roam here, though. Player goes down. A thrifty win for Liquid. A lot of utility and gun spot on the side of Fluid. However, or AGM, sorry. But Fluid was able to use better angles to take them out, especially the people that were trying to plant. Both times AGM tried to plant the EMP, they were taken out. So they need to figure out how to better cover their planter, especially since Liquid didn't even use any utility. That was purely players shooting at the planter. So they're going to need to figure out a better crossfire position to cover that planter. Does look like it will be a B site push on the side of AGM. Short Mines does take a little bit of health off Skittles, though. Kai with the EMP is pushing in Electric right now, but does rotate off. Does look like they are getting ready to push B site with DJ in assembly. Ooh, the bot swinging out almost is taken out by Kai. Now it's a 5v4. However, there are no more bots. Ooh, Commander takes out Sparks. Now it's a 5v3. Nade goes out. Pressure is able to take out Kai. Ooh, Pressure gets 2k, while DJ is able to get a pick on the side. Player swings out, gets taken out by Elite though. Now it's a 1v2. However, Pressure is 4 HP. He doesn't have an EMP, but he is rotating to B site. Commander might get a pick here. That's one dead. Uh-oh. We got some no-no action coming here from Liquid. They're using the clone projector to recreate what was happening before of placing instead a proximity sensor on top, which an unplaced proximity sensor used to have collisions and you weren't able to shoot through it. However, they fixed that. However, it doesn't seem the same thing has been done with clone projectors. I believe I have heard of this. However, I have not actually seen it happen. However, as we just saw, it did happen. Just saying, don't do that in a VRML game, Liquid. You're going to get a ticket and then also some AP. Looks like we are seeing another vending push. Commander on a very close peek here. Drone has gone in, and they do know of the player here on Gen window. They have dedicated one player to watch that, it seems, though. So, that's good. Foam is getting on wall. Proxy goes off. A little bit of damage goes out onto Skittles. They will have to be careful of this player backside. Commander does start pushing up. However, Skittles goes down to the player backside. Ooh, the timing here. Commander takes a little bit of damage there. Kai gets into a little bit of engagement there. Commander takes out Banana. Sparks getting the trade-off onto DJ. Now it's a 3v4. However, all of the AGM players are very low. Grenade goes out. Doesn't get any damage though. Interesting hold here on Tetris. Does look like the EMP player is rotating over to Tetris. And Kai may be going in. Ooh, Kai's able to take out Elite and Liberty. They have A site now. However, they do need to be careful for this player over in lockers. 2v2, one on site, one on roam. EMP does get planted. Now they need to be careful for this player on the roam. Ooh, Commander catches sight, I think. No, he missed it. Sparks is able to get the pick onto Kai. However, Commander is now ready for it. Damage goes out. However, they are able to rotate off. Commander is in a good position right now. They need to defuse EMP. And Commander gets a 2K. An interesting pre-fire coming out from the player who swung stairs. They were pre-firing the window instead. I wonder why they did that. They must have predicted that he jumped out the window instead of going downstairs. However, I find that to be super unlikely. (6-5) right now. AGM is now on match point. Hopefully they can pull this back before Liquid gets one more round. Otherwise they will be forced to go to OT. AGM has spent a lot of time here messing with utility, trying to get as much as they can. Hopefully they don't spend too much time getting to where they're pushing. Ooh. No, it does. I was about to say, if they are pushing B window, I am going to be concerned. It does look like it will be an upstairs push. However, there is no one up there to deny it. Oh, only one trip goes off. Player is able to take out the other, though. They have full control of stairs now. Nade goes out, and Sparks is able to take out Kai, who was on the window. They do have control of orange. However, they are at a player disadvantage. Only one player actually on A right now. We'll see how they decide to combat this. DJ goes down to Liberty. Ooh, Liberty takes out a second, runs to Con. Player swings out a gravel door. But Liberty with 4K, was that an ace at the end actually? I do believe that was an ace. I'm not sure. I'll have to check my stream preview because that is 4 minutes behind. Does look like who chose? AGM. AGM chose offense. I do believe they did win more rounds on offense. We will be seeing a storage side push. Skittles is pushing up. Proxy does give away location. Thankfully they don't decide to wallbang or anything like that. It does look like they have Liquid has adapted and now has someone upstairs, and DJ is able to take them out while they're going upstairs. Commander is now on door holding Con. However, Banana is able to take them out. Looked like it was a lag spike, sadly. Been seeing a lot of connection issues throughout this whole first map. Hopefully we don't see any more. Very good play here though. DJ is now in assembly. Flashbang goes out, doesn't quite get anyone. Player also goes in, however there's no one to support him. DJ goes down. This has very quickly fallen apart. Oh! That was an insane flick there from Liberty. However, Skittles does take out Elite in return. Skittles takes out Banana as well. He knows there's one in storage, however, Pressure is able to take Skittles out, winning the match for Liquid. That flick there from Liberty was insane, though. On that door? I think he has the right to brag about that kill. That was insane. No. Okay, so that last round before OT, it was not an ace. It was a 4K. Sparks stole your ace. Liberty Prime, you need to be bad at Sparks now. Final scores for anyone interested. Pressure and Liberty Prime both going double digits. 3 players on AGM going double digits though. Commander, Skittles, and DJ. Kai's very close behind, however. Elite and Sparks also very close. I was told that AGM would be cycling out a few players every single map to get several tryouts in one scrim, so we may be here for a moment. We do have our next map though, Ship. That is snipping tool, not OBS. Property. Oh, what was the score again? 7-6 for Liquid. Liquid. chip, right? Yes. It does look like we will be keeping sides the same. I don't have to change that. We will be starting on our second map ship. Okay. Okay, sorry. Just looking at stream stuff my side. We do see top floor starting off liquid defense, and for the AGM players here on this window. No, not AG. I see. Ah, Liberty Prime has swapped teams. Okay, sorry, I confused myself for a second there. Liquid does have a full of their roster, and Banana is able to take out Liberty Prime in the beginning there. A lot of damage going between the two sides. However, only Liberty Prime going down so far. Kai does take out Sparks with that Jesper. They will have to be careful for this roam downstairs. However, AGM has their own roam here on B site. The defense roam does get one. Elite takes out one. DJ gets one, but Elite is able to refrag. Player takes out Dill. And now it's a 1v2. Player does not have breaching foam right now, but B site is mostly clear. Ooh. Connection issues are making this a tiny bit difficult for him. Oh. Well, that would be very unfortunate to be Elite right now. Oh my goodness. That was almost unplayable for player there. What is his ping looking like? Oh. Oh no, he is top fragging though. He has perfect connection now. Okay, maybe not perfect connection. Nope, he has disconnected. It is now bottom floor. And it does look like we will be seeing a fire room side push. Player is now back once again. Hopefully we see them stay in the lobby. Interesting. Where is the 5th AGM player? I only see 4 here. Oh no, they're just not outlined. Okay. Kai does take out Commander here on table, not without taking a lot of damage himself. They will have to be careful of this upstairs room. However, these pushes are very interesting on the side of AGM. Very split. We do see skills here. However, they're not in the best situation right now, especially given the fact that it's now a 2v3. They are getting pushed here. Dilpreet does take out Skittles. 1v3 situation, however, Elite is low. We have seen Liberty Prime perform well, however, we'll see if he's able to do it in a situation like this. However, he is 3 HP right now. This is going to be hard for him to win. That was the full health player, however, he doesn't know that. He doesn't have all the information we have. Does look like he will be saving, which is likely the right call. He has 3 HP and there is not much of a chance of him winning this. And an Omen is $1,300 depending on the attachments you buy. And that's not a small amount of money, especially since if your teammates do decide to buy out on Vezin, you will be getting less money. Granted, AGM won't be able to do that this round, but it is something to keep in mind if you are buying out on Vezins. You do get less money if you buy more than, I believe it's 3 rifles. Not sure if Arls and Kadillos are included, but I'm sure Vezins are in Marui's count. Does look like we will be seeing a B site push, however they will have to be careful for this deep downstairs roam. Hopefully the drone is able to catch it. DJ being the main push right now. DJ is going towards bathroom. An interesting choice. Looks like our push onto B site will be starting soon. However, this roam is still a concern. One on bomb doesn't take much damage, however Skittles does. And now the EMP is planted, but the planter is dead. Roam comes in. Sparks is able to get several. And now it's a 1v5. However, EMP is planted. Commander saves Elite's life there. And a flawless round there from Liquid. 3-0 right now. Not looking good for AGM. And now emoting on Elite's body. does look like Liquid will be doing a full rifle buy. All 5 Vezins. And a little bit of utility. 2 syringes, 2 nades. I did see a static. I do believe there's also a door blocker on B site. 2 statics now. AGM isn't going to be able to afford all they need. However, they do have 3 rifles and 2 SMGs. It's not bad going into a round like that, and if they can win this, it's going to be a major win for them. We have seen Liberty Prime and DJ playing very close together for the past 2 rounds. Perhaps their playstyles just align quite well. Proxy goes off, letting them know that there are players in Helm right now. No damage with that nade. And it does look like they will be rotating off. However, as DJ does that, Banana takes him out. Over here on B, wall is blown and there is another flank downstairs. Hopefully they have a flank watch this time, because otherwise, deja vu right now. Oh, player is not ready for that, and now the roam has 3 players staring right at them. 2 picks there. Commander gets a collateral. And Banana is able to get the pick on cut. AGM once again suffering from not having a roam watch on ship. Besides Skyscraper, ship is one of the most important maps to have a flank watch. Because ship is a very close quarters map. We do see AGM grouping up here, looking like a bunks push. DJ does have the Knut, and the rest of his team is bringing rifles. It does seem to be a mostly full buy round. However, even if AGM win this, Liquid is going to have plenty of money for next round to buy all the utility and weapons they will need. DJ is running in. Not even stopped by these static field emitters. This could catch them off guard. 1, 2, 3. He could get an ace here. No. One of his kills was stolen. Liquid was goofing off a little bit too much, and DJ was literally able to run into the site and kill 4 of them. I'm not quite sure how the 5th one died. Not quite sure how the 5th one died, but that's a 4K there from DJ. Hopefully Liquid is a little bit more cautious now. Although they do seem to have lost a player. Hopefully they can get them back in time before the bot does something stupid. Those look like it will be an A-site push this time though. We see all of them gathered at this one door. Hopefully this doesn't backfire. Although there is no one on workbench, so it is entirely possible this will work. DJ is running out and does get the bot, however, ooh, almost goes down to the player sitting here on vent. But Sparks with a nade gets DJ. That's going to even it out a tiny bit. However, a little bit of damage on Skittles is not going to be good. Banana takes out Kai, and Sparks here on the corner takes out one. And now it's a 2v2. However, Liberty does go down. Refragged by player. Now it's a 1v1. Ooh, Prefire almost gets him. And player pushes through the trips to get Elite. That's going to be the second point there for AGM. Player, I think, hoping to just barely avoid death after throwing the instant on the ground, however, does go down to it. And now I need to change this because it didn't swap. Now we've swapped and AGM is on the defense. Maybe we'll see them pop off a tiny bit. However, we see 4 in the hallway out here. However, 3 of them have rotated back now. Drone going in bunks, and the AGM not AGM, Liquid players pushing in very close behind it. Foam is on wall very early, within the first 15 seconds. However, they're waiting to blow it. Only one player actually on B though. 2 now, but very interesting choice. Ooh, Skittles almost gets a pick there. Player takes out 1. And Skittles close here, taken out by Banana. Banana gets 2. He's going to run in now. Interested to see what the defense is doing right now. DJ is going for a roam. However, Liberty has traded out one of his teammates. Ooh, Liberty takes out Banana. DJ on the roam takes out Golem. And now it's a 1v1 because Elite took out DJ. Not quite sure where EMP is. However, Liberty, yes, it is in bathroom, so Liberty is likely defending that. Hopefully Elite doesn't make any footsteps and reveals his position, because Liberty is in a very good position to swing out and get him. Ooh, the timing here is... Utility goes off, likely revealing Elite's position, and now he's running. Liberty just barely doesn't swing out soon enough, and now EP is going to get planted. Ooh, Elite doesn't stick the plant and instead decides to swing. Elite's going to have to stick the plant at some point. Oh, he does, but Liberty comes up right behind him and finishes him off. And that's going to be a round win for AGM. Unfortunate that Liberty couldn't have taken him out in bathroom, but he was able to make it work after Elite planted. And who knows, maybe he let that happen so he could get some more money for his teammates. However, that does also put $300 extra in each of the Liquid players' pockets. So maybe it was worth it, maybe it wasn't. player already taking out Sparks, and interestingly, Liberty Prime instants his own teammate, and then ends up dying to reverse TK. I wonder why that happened. Instant goes out, and there's only one person actually on B site. However, Skittles on stairs does take out Banana. Golem is now in the corner watching those stairs. However, Elite goes down to him as well. Ooh, Skittles almost gets a 4K. However, Golem is there in the corner. Ooh, Golem tries to just run in, but players there on the corner. And now that's 4-4. Skittles there on the roam by Vent was able to get a lot of picks there. And Liquid just kept feeding 1v1s until Golem was able to get the refrag off of, I believe it was Elite. So I'm interested to see if they're going to allow Skittles to roam again. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't even look like they have any real major roams, just DJ. However, he does look like he will be going downstairs now. Drone going in, clearing space, and Liquid does appear to be going for a helm side push. And that roam stairs has instead decided to go towards site. So it will be a full site oriented defense. And Liquid has decided to rotate. I'm interested to see if AGM will be able to adapt to this fast enough. However, it does look like they have. Ooh, player 2K gets a 2K with the trips, and DJ goes down, however, is refragged, and now it's a 2v4. EP is on the ground, and Kai here in Paul is able to get Elite. Now it's a 1v4 for Sparks. All of them are at full HP. Sparks does have a stim ready. However, it's a 1v4 with 1 minute left, and Skittles is ready for the swing out there. AGM really pulling it back here. I believe that's 3 consecutive round wins. No, maybe 4, including the defense, the last round on defense. Maybe defense shift is just AGM's thing, and offense, they're just not quite as good. Hopefully we see more of that. I mean, DJ didn't roam that round, which is interesting. However, Skittles was able to get the last player in hallway. DJ is upstairs, however, he's on the wrong side of the building. Skittles is playing in red engine, maybe hoping to get a few more vent picks. However, they're going Liquid is going to have to be careful for these trips. I don't believe the drone or any players have noticed them. Or as I say that, they do get shot out. Ooh, Sparks should not be the one holding vent, and thankfully he does not be the end of last player holding vent. Sneaky Golem is holding vent though, and DJ does go down. There's only 2 players on site right now though, and an instant will help them defend the site a little bit, stopping them from getting the static field emitter. Golem with the nade is able to get player, and Banana, I believe it was, coming out from the vent, does get one. Golem refragging Sparks, and now it's a 1v3. However, ooh, Skittles is able to get the kill from the player who blew ball. However, it is still a 1v2. Looks like the Liquid players will be playing a little bit more passive for this post plant. And Golem holding the vent is able to get the last pick, evening out to 5-5. Very close map here on ship. Same case on first map, which was factory. I wonder if we'll go to OT again. It is top floor, so we will see how Liquid decides to push this. Before they did a port side helm push into a rotate. However, it does look like they will be doing something different now. We do see 2 AGM players here on stairs, 3 now. Now it's just 2. We'll see how they play this. I've never really seen this placement here. Liberty does decide to rotate back, however, hopefully he hears the drone in hall. Does seem to be a little bit of a split push here. 3 going B, 2 going A. No, sorry, other way around. However, player does get a trip kill there. Banana goes down very early. That's top frag as well. And now DJ is ready for the swing. He's going to swing out and hopefully get a few picks before they fully push in. Player takes out 1 and Sparks is not able to get the refrag. And swings right out into DJ, and DJ is able to get the second. Now the last player is here in the corner, takes out DJ. However, all 4 AGM players are ready to swing him, and there's not much you can do in that situation. If you have 4 players on you, it is very difficult to kill them all. And now AGM is on match point. It is middle floor, the only possible floor remaining after all 5 rounds on offense for Liquid. So we'll see how they decide to push this. I do believe they decided to do a med bay push before, and that fell apart at the end. So we'll see if they do anything different. Visual bug here. Sparks is gone. Shame. Does look like they are a little bit more A-site oriented for now. However, I do suspect a few AGM players will rotate over. However, it does seem to be a split push once again. We do see 1 going med bay, and the rest are going perhaps hallway? Or no, rotating to help teammate in medbay. They will have to be careful for this player in bathroom though. DJ has heard a lot happening over here, and Skittles is able to get Sparks on the stairs. Unfortunate early pick. Skittles is also going to be able to heal to full HP. 2 players in bathroom now. They're going to have to be careful for this round. However, they have put another player on stairs. Interesting play. It must be important to have someone on these stairs for them to put another player there. And that is likely why Skittles goes down, and now their roam is mostly clear. Now they can safely push into sight. However, they will have to be careful of DJ playing very close to the wall. Ooh, Golem is able to get the pick through the wall, and Banana is able to get DJ. Now it's a 4v2 in the favor of Liquid. Liberty is able to get the pick on Elite. However, there's no plant watch. Sneaky Golem gets Kai. Now it's a 1v2. Liberty Prime is able to get 1 and 2. Insane 4K there once again from Liberty Prime. Man, all of the Liquid players rotated off the planter, and that just gave Liberty Prime the freest 4K of his life. A lot of the AGM players have very high kill numbers, 3 of them going double digits, Skittles almost there. The Banana going double digits, 12 and 10. All the other Liquid players are very close to all the deaths they can. Most of them have 10, except for Golem, who has 5. However, he did join late. We do see Elite and Dill have 6 assists. Very body shot bandit type of playstyle there. However, we are going to hide out now. Does look like we may be seeing side swaps. Also some player rotations, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. Apologies for the wait. We are just waiting for the last AGM players to get into the lobby. They have been rotating players in and out frequently throughout the maps, likely trying to try out as many tryouts as possible. Those look like they want to start the scrim. It is last map. They are likely wanting to get the scrim over with. I mean, it has to be late, especially for anyone in EST time zone. It is 9 o'clock right now. Looks like we will be starting off in a 4v5 in the favor of Liquid. AGM is on defense. And if you had to choose between offense and defense with less people, defense does tend to be a little bit easier. However, Hideout does tend to be a little bit more offensive-sided map overall, so we will see how AGM defends this map, at least first half of the map. It looks like we will be seeing a B site push through garage and laundry. No downstairs peek, interestingly enough. Very aggressive hold here in a garage. Two people on the door and one here very close to van. Swings in laundry, perhaps might catch out the bot and player. Kai does take out one, but not before DJ goes down, and Baptiste may swing out here, but is saved. Kai is still here in garage, and hopefully the enemies know that. Kai takes out Sneaky Golem, however, do they know one more is in laundry? Kai is able to take out another player, 3k so far. Now it's a 3v1, and Elite is on his own. Elite is able to get one pick there. Now it's only a 1v2. However, the last player is a bot. That basically equates out to a 1v1. Unless this bot can get a crazy one tap, it is a 1v1. EP is on the ground here in garage, and Kai does now know that Ellie is outside garage. Ooh, Elite takes a little bit of damage. Now they're essentially the same HP. Both can take 2 headshots from the opponent. "30 seconds on the clock." Ooh, and Elite is able to bait Kai. Now it's a 1v1. The bot is being controlled by player here. Ooh, and Elite is able to take out player. A great clutch there. Kai was on a 3k, but Elite was able to take that down and win out the round for Liquid. We are now on bottom floor, and it does look like it will be a B-site push, maybe towards storage hatch as well. However, there is a roam upstairs. They will have to be careful for DJ up here. Drone is in storage, likely calls out that there's no one in storage right now. Not quite the best instant, and the drone does go down. However, there is a player on waterfall now. They will have to be careful of that. There are two players watching it though. Hopefully they don't swing out too soon. The player in waterfall playing it very safe right now. Sparks does swing out and get Kai, however Skittles is able to refrag it. The player in waterfall causes a little bit of a distraction. However, Skittles and DJ are able to get a lot of picks here. Ooh, DJ gets a little bit too curious there and suffers for it. And Banana on a 2K now. Skittles goes down. Now it's a 2v2. And Golem has EMP right now. He could plant. No utility on the side of AGM to deny it. They're going to have to swing. Ooh. Golem decides to swing instead of stick the plant, and he's able to get a pick for that, and Banana is able to cover the last angle. Very interesting round there. Liquid gained storage very early. AGM did not have any presence in there, and the player in Waterfall was able to briefly distract. However, they didn't do much in the grand scheme of things, ended up just rotating back to site. Skittles was able to deny Liquid for a little bit, but Banana was able to end up getting the pick onto him, which opened up site completely. And that just ended up letting them get the EMP down and the final picks. Now we're on to top floor. Liquid seems to be pushing B site right now. Drone going in. Foot trips. Ooh, Banana's very low now. Luckily he has a stim. B-wall is blown, however Dill is able to get the pick there. Sparks is now in sight, however goes down. Banana is able to get the player on stairs, however Skittles is there to take out... I don't remember who it was there, sorry. 2v3 now. There is a player on door, however, very good nade. Gets a lot of damage. Golem is able to take out Skittles, who was trying to go for the flank there. But Kai on the box is able to take out Banana. Now Sneaky Golem is in a 1v1 now. 2 HP versus a full health player. However, Golem has a Vezin and a Stim now, while player only has a Viper. Ooh, but player sitting in the corner is able to get the pick. Very good angle held there from player. He was able to catch Golem off guard with how aggressive he was playing. Also, Golem hadn't fully healed up when he swung. He was still regenerating a little bit from the stim, and that allowed player to get a one headshot onto him. The Viper does around 50 damage, and I believe he was just under that when he swung out. So maybe let the syringe fully heal you before you swing out, or at least more than 80, because the Aurel does 80 damage to the head. So if you at least get above 80, then 90% of the guns in the game are going to one-shot you. Unless they have like a Knut or something, then it's complete chance. Golem does seem to be playing on rocks now. However, the drone has gone in. Hopefully notifies them that there's only a player in waterfall and not actually in storage right now. The Sparks doesn't quite get the pick. DJ does take out one with the shotgun. However, Banana is able to get the trade with Skittles. Sparks does take out Kai, and now we're off to a 4v3. Golem is in sight, proper plant spot as well. Hopefully his teammates will be able to cover him. However, Golem swings out instead. DJ upstairs. But Golem with the 3K wins out the round for Liquid. Golem says, no, I don't need teammates. I'll just bait. Crazy round there, though. Golem is just able to take advantage of AGM not playing very coordinated and is able to win those 1v1 gunfights. And it does look like we will be seeing another B site push. I don't usually see B site pushes coming out from very many teams. I think this is like the second time I've seen a team push B twice. However, it does seem to be a little bit split up as well. Player does take out the bot. And there is a player here on window. Nade goes out, but is stopped by a brick on the floor. Unfortunate for them. And it does look like a rotation is in order. They will be sticking with a site. They will have to be careful for the double trips though, and the player downstairs. However, DJ does have a Knut. This could be difficult for him to get a pick. Banana does take out Skittles in Con. And Impy is getting planted B site. However, no, the player in bedroom goes down. Now it's a 2v4. It's the roam and a player sitting in tub. Ooh. DJ takes out Dill. Maybe should have held his fire and let the trips take him out, not let him know he's there. Ooh, player kind of baits DJ right there. He has 2 kills now. But Golem in the corner takes him out. Very close round there. Player was able to get 2 of them, but not quite ready for Golem in the corner. It is the last round before the swap, so we see Liquid buying as much as they can. Skittles, interestingly enough, not buying everything they can. They still have $1,500. DJ also has $1,300, however, perhaps there's just nothing else they could buy. Flash goes out. likely catches one, and they know he's in the corner. Sparks does take out Kai. Banana is able to get another pick. Player does take out Banana. Now it's a 3v4. They know one's con. However, do they know one's AV door? Ooh, a little bit of damage on the player in con. Elite is able to take out AV door. However, does flash his teammate. But Sparks steals the kill there from his teammate. And now sides have swapped. Liquid is looking very good right now. I mean, (5-1). Hopefully it doesn't end up being a 5-1 curse. That would be a little bit unfortunate for them. What the heck? Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what I just did. Looks like we will be seeing a B site push coming out here from AGM. I believe I do usually see an A site push coming out from them. However, it does look like they will be switching it up. Ooh. The bot here almost able to take out Banana. Very low now. Drone goes in. Might point out a few players. However, there are 4 players on this hallway. Skittles almost goes down. Hopefully drone points that out. Not quite sure how I teleported there, sorry. However, there are 2 players on this door. They need to be careful to not rotate in too soon. Ooh, DJ is able to get a lead, and now EMP players out here outside. And Golem is able to take out Kai, and now they know they have EMP. This is not good. However, both the Liquid players are very low right now. Player is able to take out Golem, and now it's a 1v3. He's going to be able to catch off DJ, but now the rest of the players know he's there, and they're going to be able to pinch him. And Skittles takes out Banana. We may just be seeing a 5-1 curse. Maybe. Don't take my word for it, but DJ once again going for the Knut, his usual, and he's not doing bad with it. 6 and 7. However, you would usually see that assist number be a little bit higher if you're running Knut. Very spread out kills on the side of AGM though. 6, 6, 6, and 4. Bot doesn't count, of course, but Liquid does have one player going double digits already though. They're not top frag though. Perhaps Golem was just planting a little bit more. However, DJ is now in A site, and defenders take him out, and unfortunate pick there. Perhaps should have called it out a little bit sooner and just held A site instead of swinging out. That's Vezin on the ground now. They're going to need to recover that if they want to win this round. Ooh, almost goes down. Kai is able to take out Sparks, but swings out unnecessarily without his teammate, and Banana takes him out. Now it's a 1v4. rifle now in the hands of Liquid. And Kai is in a 1v4. However, Banana and Ali are both very low. That's going to let Liquid know Kai is there on garage door. We'll see if they get aggro or decide to swing the window. One has jumped out, and Kai takes them out. There is one more on window, though. One's upstairs, and they somehow win that gunfight. Liquid now on match point. AGM losing a rifle that round as well. But now we're on to bottom floor. It does look like we will be seeing a B site push. However, the bot is going A. Unfortunately. No. It's going waterfall, and you can't really tell what a bot is doing based off waterfalls, so. Oh, I keep forgetting to use a peek I've seen before. If I remember correctly, you can just barely get up onto the edge of this cloth, so your head is peeking over just enough that you can have a pixel through the doorway. Doorway is blown. Looks like foam will be... That's crazy. I was about to say foam will be walled. Wall will be foamed in a moment if Skittles is not DC. Because yes, Skittles does have their only foam. Player in storage does take a lot of damage and returns back to site. However, bot is pushing A site instead. Perhaps they will catch out the player here. No, Sparks is able to catch DJ. And now they're 3 players down. Now it's a 1v5 though. Liquid win that 7-2. Shame they had to resort to DDoS though. Don't worry, that's just a joke. Unfortunate that 3 of their players DC'd at the end though. Final scores for anyone who's interested.